This particular shortage is man-made shortage. The water situation is little area of concern. Using a Cauvery water for the toiletry purpose is not a good idea. Being a government, we alone cannot do all these things. I request and appeal our citizen to go for large-scale rainwater harvesting structure in a scientific manner.
Thank you for joining us and taking time out to talk to us, sir. How busy are you these days? How many hours are you putting in ever since the crisis started?
Thank you for the interview. Yes, there is a challenging time, but it is manageable.
Right. So, one question that a lot of people have now is, what is the real situation? So, what is the water availability like, and what is the supplies that we're getting, and how does it compare to what it used to be before the crisis?
See, Bangalore has population of 1 crore 40 lakhs. At the rate of WHO recommendation, 150 liters per day per human being is required. At this rate, we need 2,100 liters, 2,100 million liters per day. In addition to that, we have commercial and industrial establishment. For that, we need additional 500 million liters day. Totally 2,600 million liters day is the requirement as per our reports. Out of which we have 1,450 million liters per day supplied through the Cauvery network, and this Cauvery network is extensively covering the core area and part of the CMC and TMC areas of the BBMP limits. In addition, there is an area called 110 villages, which is having the major vertical development area that is morely depending upon the borewell water. Now, the reason for the current shortage is that the borewells have gone down in their levels because of the continuous shortage of rainfall. And as per the geological report of the Bengaluru is very porous, and that's why the water recharge is also fast and water depletion is also fast. So that's the reason now the depletion is very fast. And however, we are taking steps to augment the supply by increasing the available water by using the effective way of treated water. Then we are also exploring the option to recharge the groundwater through the treated waters, and also we are taking steps to minimize the wastage of water, and also we are taking steps to augment the supply by taking some corrective measures to reduce the leakage. Overall, the water situation is little area of concern, but it is not as alarming as being projected out.
Okay. And are we getting the required quantum of water from Cauvery, or has that reduced?
The required quantity of water is 1.56 TMC per month, and we have plenty of water in the Cauvery for drinking water purpose, not for irrigation purpose. So totally about 34 TMC water is being stored in 4 reservoirs, which is sufficient for taking care of the Bengaluru water supply needs and also other cities depending upon the Cauvery.
Until the
So
next
Cauvery,
monsoon, sir?
yeah, up until next monsoon we have sufficient water resources. Out of this 4 reservoirs, we have 34 TMC. For next 4-6 months, we need up to only 8 to 10 TMC water. So we have sufficient water storage in Cauvery for drinking water purpose for supplying to the Bengaluru.
Now, ever since what is being, like you said, ever since the crisis began, the government has taken up a slew of measures, such as a cap on water tanker prices, or say borewell drilling. You've sort of started checking more. Citizens are asking, we knew that there was a drought in 2023. Was the government preparing for this situation, or did we wake up too late to the situation?
The government is very much aware about the situation. That's why in the way behind in the month of December, we started writing to the Cauvery River Nigamam to store the sufficient water for the drinking water needs. Secondly, we have also identified about 257 water stressful areas in the limits of BBMP, and we have taken steps to cover this area by putting some booster pumps. And also we have taken steps to procure additional tankers. 18 tankers are being procured, and we are hiring the tankers. So all these measures have been in place in very short notice of time. It is all due to our preparatory efforts, and we are also now connecting about 14 lakes with the treated water that have been already done. So that all shows that we are very much prepared. However, the media perception and the social media projection has led to this kind of overreaction to this shortage issue. But we are managing at our level to see that the people are not being concerned or apprehensive, and we assure you that the water in Cauvery is sufficient for drinking water and consumption of cooking purposes, whereas for non drinking purpose we urge the common citizen to use the treated water which is eco-friendly and which is very very good in quality, better than a borewell water. So only it's an attitudinal and behavioral change is required. So we have to use those water. We have plenty of water, that is about 1,300 million liters of water is available. In fact, recently our construction industries have come forward to use this water for the construction purpose instead of using borewell water, which is having more salt than the our treated water. So this is a way of change, and this change cannot happen over time, and it can happen over a period of time. And on behalf of government and Jalamandli, I urge and appeal to the common citizens of Bangalore to use the treated water for non-drinking purpose.
Where
And
can citizens access this treated water, sir?
Parisara Jalasnehi. It is an online web portal for booking the treated water tankers. In this case, initially we are allowing the user to take the water with their own hired tankers, because providing tankers from BWSSB at this point of time will be difficult. If they have already tied up vendors like apartment complexes, if they wanted to use this very very good quality treated water, and it is very very eco friendly and it is tested by the BAS lab, and this can be used effectively. Though they are claiming that they have a STP plant, they will have a treated water, but our quality of water is uncomparable. We are having very good quality of water, and we blend with natural water.
Could you share
So,
a few details of how much it's going to cost and what it can be used for, sir?
so we have 33 STPs treatment plants in the across city, and we are producing 1,300 million liters per day. Whatever you consume, you again get out as an extraction. And all the Western countries, including Europe and Singapore, are using this treated water extensively for the non-drinking purposes. That's what the way forward now. And this cost of this water is very very cheap. It is 10 rupees per 1,000 liters of water. That means a tanker will cost you 60 rupees in addition to the hiring charges. Right now we have capped the price at various levels. If it is needed, if there is a need of our, then we can also exempt this water as a free water for the people to
Okay.
take for
And
non-drinking purposes.
so they can use it for what purposes? Gardening,
They can use it for gardening, they can use it for cleaning, they can use it for washing the cloth,
car
they
washing.
can use it for the toiletry purposes, they can use it for any other purpose other than drinking and cooking purposes.
Right. Okay. So also you mentioned that this is the first time perhaps that the government has capped the prices of water tankers. You've also set up a helpline where people can complain. Have you been receiving like what kind of numbers have
No,
you
the
received, sir?
tankers are getting registered. About 1,560 tankers have been registered so far. We are going to put an identification tag for all these tankers who have registered, and we are also going to stick a sticker on the tanker to notify the rates which have been prescribed by the government.
Okay.
In case any consumer being exploited by the tanker owner beyond this rate, which is unreasonable, then they have to call a complaint number 1916. So based on the complaint, we will start investigating the issue and take action, penal action or some regulatory action on those tankers. However, this mechanism is given time till 15th March. We are giving time for the both tanker owners and the consumer to settle, so that uh, things will be in place. So after 15th, there will be enforcement mechanism.
Right. There's also an allegation of from certain areas where people are attaching suction. There is suctioning of they're basically drawing water from the pipelines directly and illegally. Have you come across that as well?
Yeah, it is there. We have also seen. I can't deny the fact. It is a citizen's fault. Over a period of time, what happened? Some people with a idea to exploit more, they have put these pumps. However, this is illegal practice. Through this media, I gave them option to on their own voluntarily remove such things. In case if they continue to do that, we will take a strong measures against them.
Right. So apart from these regulatory mechanisms, there's also talk of how the city used to have 1,000 lakes. Our rivers have not been maintained well. Vrishabhavati, for example, lake. Are you taking any long-term measures to sort of ensure there's water balance in Bengaluru like it used to be in the past?
Yes, I agree with you. Bengaluru is a city with lakes, and these lakes have been man-made mostly, and they have been built in a such a way that the rainwater which drops in the northern portion flows down to south portion. While flowing down, it can fill the various tanks. Unfortunately, extraneous urbanization, we got this lake system disturbed. Now it is all our duty to protect those lakes and the channels, to reach see that lakes are being given the proper treatment in nature. so that it will be a source of balancing reservoir, and it will be a source of water for the future generation to come.
And what about the Vrishabhavati? So the Congress government, after it took power, I think in the first budget had mentioned that there will be efforts made to rejuvenate the river, to bringing it back to what it used to be.
Yeah, it needs a very comprehensive and a long-term project. Definitely, government is looking into that, and they will hopefully submit a project report to the government to see that the reservoir of the river is being rejuvenated.
Right. So the next question is about rainwater. We've seen several years of surplus monsoon, 1 year of drought, and now everyone's scrambling for water. The BWSSB has made it mandatory for certain structures to have rainwater harvesting structures, which may not have been followed to the extent that you expected it to be. Are you going to sort of tighten norms around that, like you've done with water tankers and borewells?
Basically, rainwater harvesting is a beneficial activity for the consumers. It will directly benefit them if they use it for recharging their borewells. Many a time they have the household borewells, but it never get discharged, it never get recharged. They let this roof top harvested rainwater into the drains or into the UGD system. This is a very uh, unwarranted practice by the common man. Through your mechanism, we are appealing them to use this rainwater to recharge their own household borewells primarily. Secondly, they should also come forward to see that percolation pits are being made in their vicinity, or community harvesting of rainwater should be the way forward, so that the groundwater which got over exploited by the drilling more wells get the recharged easily with the rainwater. Maybe by monsoon we get the rain. By the time, if we are able to make many number of recharge structures, rainwater harvesting structures, the future will be bright. Otherwise, there is a challenge.
Right. Two final questions. So one is, right now, what would your appeal to citizens be to conserve water to tide over this crisis until the monsoon at least?
Basically, I request and appeal to the citizens of Bangalore, because this particular shortage is man-made shortage. How it is means that borewells have been overexploited. Secondly, the water usage pattern. We are very much using the water, and that water can be saved very well. For example, using a Cauvery water for the toiletry purpose is not a good idea. Cauvery water is the purest water, and it is given with a lot of efforts by the BWSSB for the consumers for the drinking and consumption purpose and cooking purposes. For the remaining household users, always use the treated water or use the water very judiciously. So with it, definitely we can tide over this crisis. Every individual in every household, every woman in the household should be conscious of using the water, because water comes with so much efforts by the BWSB. 100 kilometer it is traveling, for 1,000 feet it is traveling from Cauvery to this Bengaluru. It is that much distance we are traveling. So please be conscious of the usage, and we are there to support your initiative. We are getting Cauvery Stage 5 project, about 775 MLD is again additionally pumped into the system by May 15th of this year. Definitely we have a capacity to build, and only we request till then you have to be citizen conscious and being responsible citizen. You please use water judiciously. Save water, save Bangalore.
And final question is, now you've started taking measures to conserve water, at least through the crisis. Any long-term measures being taken to ensure that Bengaluru doesn't have to depend entirely on Kaveri or borewells?
So used water is a treated water that should be used for purpose other than drinking and non-drinking purpose. That's the only way forward.
Right.
The apartments, big apartments, should think and bring the attitudinal change, and they should to do this mechanism primarily to bridge the gap of this water shortage. Secondly, rainwater, because rainwater we had a flood in last
Yes.
1 or 2 years back.
Yeah.
So that shows that there is a mechanism which need to be developed. For that matter, I can't blame either citizen alone or the government alone. There is a cooperation is required from both the sides. So every roof is harvesting so much water. If at your roof whatever water is harvested, that if you put a filter and use the water to recharge your own household borewell, then lot of rainwater can be saved and it will percolate down to the ground. So it will become a natural sump for you. So ground, whatever water you put in, it can be extracted back when you are in need. So it will never go away. So that's why I request and appeal our citizen to go for large scale rainwater harvesting structure in a scientific manner, so that it will happen. If it is not possible, if you don't have a space, at least 5 to 10 people can make a cluster and come forward to make a cluster community harvesting of rainwater. That will be the future.
Right.
So basically, usage of treated water to directly use for non-consumption purpose, usage of treated water for recharging the groundwater, and usage of rainwater for harvesting mechanism to recharge the groundwater. It's a three major mechanism which needs public participation and all the stakeholders cooperation.
Right.
Being a government, we alone cannot do all these things. We request no, NGOs and other communities, residential associations, apartment associations to come forward to take this step in next 2 months in a large scale. Then the future will not be bleak as we are now. As of now, we request the cooperation from all the stakeholders.
Right. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.